So we're going for the live. And there's a little bit of a lag compared to what it shows me on this screen versus when we're actually popped up. And we are here live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is the Hour of Holistic Health on Topic. And today we have the beautiful Gaby Jordan back with us. It took a while to bring her back. She is a world traveler here, and she's the CEO of Source Elements Group and also the founder of Human Better EDU, aka education. So, so today we are going to speak about freedom through expression and why your voice matters. And Gaby just ended up co-authoring a book that we are really going to get into today, which is Wired to Win. So,
For the visual.
Gaby, and it's right there. There's the visual. And I will let you know who she co-authored with and what her chapter is titled and what it's all about. But we are talking about the freedom of your voice and why it concerns your holistic being, because it does. And we have the beautiful Colleen Barrel here with us, being our anchor and co host today. So, if anybody would like to put anything live in the chat as we go, she will try and catch it for us. But if not, the replay will be here. And we have a wonderful free gift for you guys. Of course, we do, courtesy of Gaby, that's going to help you to follow what we're discussing today, and it's called the Champion Conversation Outline. So after we're finished, it will go in the description and it's going to be there free for you to enjoy. So, with having said all of that so far, Gaby, welcome. So wonderful to have you back with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, shall we get to it? First off,
Absolutely.
let's talk a little bit about your book. Okay,
Okay.
because it's just been launched
It has.
and it's exciting to
That's
have
right.
a book launched as well, I know. And so please let us know what your chapter is, who you're
Absolutely.
co-authoring with, and a little bit about these unspoken conversations.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's great to be here. And this book, Wired to Win, you can see here, is co-authored with Marion Jones and Suzanne Evans. And for those of you who might not remember, Marion Jones is a five-time Olympian. And she was dubbed, when at the age of 24, the fastest woman in the world. So in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, she won 3 gold medals and 2 other medals.
Wow.
And so stunning. And I actually train with Marion, so the opportunity arose to co-author a book with her and a number of other co-authors. And it's called Wired to Win because it's all about strategies for success and how and it's great for anyone to read besides my chapter. My chapter is awesome too. But
Of course
besides,
it is.
but besides my chapter, there are lots of things from different perspectives that people bring. And so there's something for everyone. And my particular chapter is called Freedom Has a Voice, the astounding impact of speaking the truth. And the chapter is designed because I really do believe and have seen through years and years of coaching people. So I'm an executive coach and global educator, and I teach programs around the world. And through Human Better EDU, we've taught in over 80 schools, from MIT to NYU to Stanford Business School to London School of Economics, Nova University, Vienna University, so the gamut. And kindergarten through postdocs and coaching deans and coaching entire department faculty. And then working with the executives that I do all over the world, one of the things that is critically important is for people to be able to speak up and for people to have the conversations that they don't tend to have. And so this chapter was designed to really highlight that and to actually give people a structure for having those conversations, which my free gift does as well in terms of the structure. But the why I was so happy to do it is because I really do believe that it impacts your happiness, as you said, your health, to the extent that you don't communicate things that are on your heart or in your mind and stuff them. It actually can make you sick. It really can make you sick.
Oh,
So in the world
absolutely.
of holistic health, it's important to know all of the different vehicles. There's movement, there's mindset, all of that is valuable, and communicating is one of the things that makes a big difference in people's health and happiness.
Absolutely, 1000%. And so the more that we can actually speak our truth, okay, when things come up, instead of stuffing them down, um, we actually feel the sense of more freedom,
That's right.
which impacts the sensation we have, which is our spirit,
Mm-hmm.
that we shine brighter.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And absolutely. And the clarity starts to come. Well, of course, I'm going to put it back in terms of energy. We're moving the energy as soon as we start speaking up in our truth, but we're moving it in alignment of who we are. So we end up with the clarity, we end up with attracting the better results of what we would want with such an outcome,
That's right. And
instead of more chaos, noise, and confusion and
right.
frustration.
And I'm going to say that a couple of different perspectives. One is that when you do not have a conversation and you are stuck with something, there's a part of you that is hiding something. And when you're hiding something, you're suggesting that there's a part of you that's not okay. And if there's a part of you that's not okay, as you say, it impacts the energy because it disables you from really creating all that you want. Because if you're hiding something that you feel is not okay, is not safe, is not worthy, it
Mhm.
then impacts some, and sometimes I call it a deserve meter. So to
Oh,
the
I like
extent that,
that.
yeah, so to the
Yeah,
extent you
yeah,
feel like
it's
you
great.
don't deserve something, it impacts what you actually can accomplish.
Oh, without a doubt, because you're holding yourself back, but oftentimes people don't know how or what they're holding themselves back by.
Yes, yes, it's true. And one of the things that we talk about is something called a three grumble rule. And that's just a way of being able to identify if there's
Mhm.
something that you should be communicating. Because one of the many objections I get to having the conversation, oh, it happened so long ago, it doesn't matter, it's in
Oh,
the
yeah, right.
past, right?
It really
Yeah,
matters. It was a long time ago.
right. And so people think it's not important, except the problem is it's taking up real estate in your brain.
Hmm.
It's taking away energy that you could be using to do something productive, something that you want to do, all because it's like little gremlins in there.
Yeah,
Right? And
exactly.
so, the way to sort of give yourself a rule about it is, okay, if you think about it once, okay, maybe you're processing, fine. Even a second time. But if you think about it a third time, it's like, it's now time to deal. It's time to deal. And as I've said, there's a structure for way to have the conversation. And we talk about having this conversation with a balance of truth and tact. So sometimes when
Hmm.
people talk about speaking up, it's like, yeah, then I told them, blah, blah.
Yeah,
That's
well,
not what I'm
that's
talking about.
no.
Not what I'm talking about. There's a way to have the conversation in a way that you can say what you need to say and somebody else can hear what needs to be heard without having it be confrontational. And
Now
that's the
that's the
thing.
skill set.
Yes, exactly. I'm not saying, listen, as I say to people, if I could wave my magic wand and have fairy dust come out and have everything be perfect in your life, I would. I would.
Yeah,
But
me
it doesn't,
too.
it doesn't work that way, right? It's an iterative process. We have to learn what works and what doesn't work. And everybody's got a different standard for themselves. But
Mhm.
there's a way to determine whether it's the right balance of truth and tact. So one is if you, and we all err on one side or the other, right? And so if you speak with a lot of tact or too much tact, you
Mm.
might feel you had the conversation, but you didn't get your point across because nothing changed, or you think the person doesn't care. Maybe, just maybe, you didn't say it clearly enough. You didn't say it specifically enough. It wasn't sufficiently truthful, if you will, like your truth, right? So when I say truth and tact, I don't mean the truth, eternal truth. No, I mean what is true for you. And
Right.
so there's also a way of having the conversation a way that it's truth, that you're telling your truth. But if you have too much truth, and you got your point across, and yeah, except you leave a bunch of dead bodies around you.
Yeah.
Not so useful. Not so useful.
Collateral damage. No, not good.
Exactly. So, really, the point of this is to be able to have a conversation with the balance of those things, which enables you to build a beautiful future. It's not about confrontation. It's not even about just getting something off your chest. It's about building a beautiful future. And that's what this is designed for.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, when we do hold back and there's some form of trepidation going on, that there isn't the perspective and the perception of also what is trying to be conveyed gets skewed. And in that skew, there is no clarity. It actually only brings more confusion. A confusion to the person trying to get their point across and not even identifying what is going on within them or that old story that's been talking that they buried in, oh, it was such a long time ago, it doesn't matter anymore, when it really does. Versus the person trying to receive that information. You can feel when something is off. You don't know what it is, but it can also set up a distrust
Mm-hmm.
for that person because you can feel something's not
That's right.
quite right.
That's right. And it ties into your whole conversation about energy. And you so you can feel the energy from the other person. So, the funny thing is, and by the way, when you don't know how to say it, or you don't, this whole process includes preparing for the conversation. This is not about just go dump your stuff all over the world. No, it's you've got to prepare, especially the bigger conversations that are more important. You have to prepare for them in a way that you've thought about it. You're in a place that you can have the conversation. But I actually advocate people writing them down, and I give people actually a structure to write it down. And sometimes it takes revising it, it takes practicing it, right? So in the first instance, the writing it down, what you're talking about in terms of the clarity, you can actually develop better clarity if you write it. And
Absolutely.
if it's a really important conversation, I actually suggest that you practice it with someone, or at least in the mirror, but another human being to listen to you. What also changes is when the words come out of your mouth,
And
you
you
can
hear.
you can hear them in a different way, and you're like, oh, maybe that's not the best way to say it. So it gives you the opportunity to really set it up well, and that setup also allows the other person to hear it more easily, and then you to get to speak your truth.
Absolutely. We don't want to come from a place of triggers, and yet we may not know what the triggers are until a conversation needs to come up and why we have submerged that or hid part of that even from ourselves or haven't spoken clearly and openly because we've already anticipated somebody else's reaction. So that's just, that's just prophesizing and making
That's
it
right.
come true
That's right.
anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we don't want to set any of that up. And so, yes, you know I'm 1000% concur with you with about pen to paper and voicing and hearing since I work with sound and all of that. And so it is about the person. For me, it's also about the person first coming into a very calm state with
Mhm,
themselves
mhm,
and knowing how to do that. And that's like my specialty, to calm down all the chaos and the noise so they can actually hear and feel who
mhm,
they are more and become clear with it. And conversation is definitely not loading something on somebody.
right.
It is not telling them off. That's not a
Mhm,
conversation.
that's right.
That's dumping garbage out. And so, just like with different spiritual practices, and I'm spirituality with practicality, I give them practical tools, outlines, how to follow.
Mm,
Conversation is part of this, and learning how this is an empowerment, not just for your own personal self, which has to start there, but it impacts any form of relationship out there. It doesn't matter if it's personal, partner, business, community. It's the
even your
whole gamut.
relationship with yourself.
Exactly. That's why I said it has to be yourself first.
Yes,
And it is a skill set which a lot of people don't understand that it really truly is. So it's always about putting it in action and practice and becoming clear ahead of time
mhm,
and practice that so you can hear and feel all that. So you know that your delivery is there with the intention of having a real communication, not just words that blurb out and, oh, this is what I want to get.
that's right.
That
That's
energy
right.
doesn't work.
That's right.
Maybe temporarily, but man, it can kick you in the butt after.
And then one of the things that I advocate when I teach people the process for this is that, well, first, as I was writing it down, but so that one of the first things you write down is, why do you want to have the conversation? Why
Mm-hmm.
is it important to you? Being able to identify that and articulate it in a way that ultimately, when you have the conversation, you're actually sharing that and you're getting that person's alignment in the intention of the conversation. And that already goes a long way to having it be successful because you're inviting the other person in to creating a better future.
Absolutely. And it is about the why. And that's how I work with my students when they have their goal or their dream goal. What is behind that? Does it really support that? And it helps break it down when we go down into 5 levels of the why and what does that look like? What does that feel like? Because then you can start determining, well, wait a minute. Is that really why I want this conversation? And a lot of things come to light when we start putting the spotlight on the whys, and the whys are critical.
And so you said something else that I want to point at too, is you said something when people are trepidatious about having a conversation. One of the things that I also say is that you want to include in the conversation why you're nervous about having the conversation. Because when you include it, it takes it, if you don't include it, it's like it's a filter through which you are speaking. And then you're waiting for example, if you're trepidatious, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for them to give the reaction that they typically give in your head, right? If you speak what your concern is in having the conversation, it takes it out of you, out of your body, out of your concern, puts it out on the table. One, it has you be more human because there are reasons that you might be concerned. They're different depending on the conversation. Two, it helps them know how to listen to you,
Mm-hmm.
and then enhances the likelihood of the success of the conversation.
Well, that's very true because it is about being open, and energetically, what that does, it diffuses the block and the distortion. because that's what the person would be feeling. And I love how you did say that it starts to show the person how to listen to the other person of the conversation of how they want to have it. And a lot of people don't take that into account.
Yes.
So it's not about putting every personal thing out there like
No.
too much, but it is with the integrity of the conversation. Ergo, why one really needs to say, okay, what is this? What am I writing down? What is
That's
this
right.
conversation for? And
Yes.
where are we going? And who am I speaking to with this
Mhm.
conversation
Mhm.
to understand really who they are and where they are in order to also help be very palatable on the way that you deliver the conversation with that person so it's easier for them to hear.
Mhm.
Because easy conversations are just that, they're easy.
Right.
We're talking about difficult
That's right.
conversations
That's right.
here that
That's
we
right.
hide from, and we
Right.
go, oh, well, I don't want to touch that. I'm not going there because they're going to react like this type thing. Or it impacts us in such a way that it could impact our future, and we don't know the unknown.
That's right.
That's another big hesitation why we don't venture into conversations that we're not comfortable with.
Right. So I actually call these conversations champion conversations.
And that's why we have that gift.
Right, that's right. And why I call them champion conversations is because it actually takes you being a champion, both as a noun and a verb.
Mhm.
So, you being a champion in being willing to overcome fear, overcome something that is uncomfortable in favor of what you think is an optimal future. And then to champion is to, stand for, to believe in, right? So that's why these conversations, whether hard conversations, critical conversations, I call them champion conversations because of those things. Like who you need to be to have it, what it says about you, and you're championing the truth, your relationship, the value. And you know, the mere virtue of by mere virtue of the fact that you've been willing to have the conversation puts you in a different space, has you feel differently about yourself.
Mhm.
And that's huge.
It's very huge. And the truth of it is that, there is definitely an element of courage when you're afraid of something, but then still taking the action.
Mhm.
And if you're not afraid of it, it doesn't require any courage.
That's right.
So, so right away, you are still putting yourself forth because of the worth of yourself. So you have more self-worth, but then also the information of the conversation, you are giving it more value. I picked up on what you just said about that. And people don't look at that portion, but that's big. That
And
really
even
is.
if it doesn't go perfectly the first time, and sometimes you need to have multiple conversations,
Oh
no
yeah,
problem. Even if it doesn't go perfectly, it moves something. It moves something in the space. It moves something in energy. And,
of course it does.
and it may, it's not like you're going to have, sometimes you have these conversations and you realize you should part ways. It's
Mhm.
not, panacea, but it's resolution. It's resolution to see, should you be with this person if it's a personal, relationship? Should you not? Sometimes you might need to leave a job because what is happening is not workable for you. But if you don't speak it, one of the other things is sometimes there is a statistic that people leave their jobs because they just don't want to deal with a difficult situation,
Mhm.
right? So 1 in 5 employees report that avoiding conflict has caused them to quit a job. So 20% of people walking around will leave their jobs because they don't want to have a conflict, rather than being able to actually have the conversation. And then there's another statistic that is there's $64.2 million per year, which is the average cost of poor communication in companies that have over 100,000 employees.
No, what was that figure again?
$62.4 million.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It is
Crazy.
crazy.
And we just do not even think, or that the average cost of avoiding a conversation is $7,500 and more than 7 work days. This is in the work context.
Mhm.
So, and 70% of employees avoid difficult conversations with their boss, coworker, or direct peers. We're not doing such a great job of getting communication out there.
No,
And
we're
so
definitely.
that's why we really want to give people a tool to be able to have those conversations, because they're so important, right? And you want to be able to have them so you can get onto the important work things you want to create in the world.
Absolutely. And that was the point that I was just going to jump into. When all of that that's stuffed inside you is taking up that space
Yes,
within you, it's a weight. It's taking up a whole bunch of energy and it is stopping the flow of different resolutions
that's right.
because maybe the resolution isn't what you're going to expect. Maybe it's even better
That's
than
right.
what you could possibly have imagined. And that happens.
That's right.
It's not, oh God, it's going to come out awful and I don't say anything and I'll be okay if I just stay moderate here.
Right.
Well, no,
Right.
because everybody suffers.
That's right.
But the person who's holding that all in is the one who actually suffers the most.
Yes. I'll give you a personal example. So, as I
Oh
share in
yeah,
the
and
book,
we have
right,
tons of.
right.
Oh,
But
you.
so I went to have a conversation with my ex-husband 16 years after we were no longer together. We had moved on. We each had our own lives, our new relationships. We never had kids together, but he had kids with his second wife. I then had kids, my husband, but this was when the kids were already born. So this is 16 years later. I'm going to have a conversation. And the conversation was not one that I really wanted to have. Embarrassing. I had cheated on him and I wanted to let him know. So I go have this conversation. And first of all, he was delightful, amazing, said, basically, you never have to apologize for another thing. I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. Right. And that, right. Fast forward, he's doing the music for my new CD. I'm a singer also. So I have a couple of CDs and he's doing the music for my new one. And I'm coaching him in his life. And it was his idea. So that was not something that is predictable.
No, not at all.
And people are so surprised when they hear about our relationship that, how great, I speak to him all the time. Texted with him last night, this morning, it was going to be a funeral, because the thing about why I wanted to have that conversation was because there was something between us that I hadn't communicated. And, you could say, oh, it was years ago, who matters? It doesn't matter. I mean, it was 16 years after. And I've been married to my husband now for 30 years, right? So this is even a long time ago that I had this conversation, but still.
It was still a barrier.
It was back then, it was a barrier. And now I don't have that. And so now we have the opportunity to create, and we love our relationship. I mean, he is divorced from his second wife. He has been in other relationships. I coach him relative to questions in new relationships. It's, there's a freedom of expression between
That's the
the two of
exact
us.
word I'm vibing. It's freedom.
Yeah,
It's absolutely.
That's what it was. So
Well,
that's an example. And I'll give you another one in a business context that was not me, but someone else. Less people think this is just a personal thing. No. So we led a workshop at a company, and one of the things we did was to talk about this conversation. And the president of the company said, awesome, really great. By the way, there's one conversation I will not be having, and that is with the founder of the company. We're like, really? After all this, you're not going to have that conversation? Nah, not having. Okay, we did a little coaching-ish, right? Several months go by, and I go back with another colleague to lead a bunch of workshops, all over the country for this company, and it was a mandatory workshop. So this president was in the workshop in one of them that I led. He said, I just want to let you know, I actually did go have that conversation. And now we go on vacation together. We're at each other's houses, frequently. This was never going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I learned. When somebody says never, get ready.
So that was just, a beautiful example of, someone who actually did get the courage to have the conversation. They were actually able to resolve things, and then they have a new future.
Which is exactly the truth. It is a big and better, freer future.
That's right.
So conversation, absolutely. Proper conversation.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
Skilled conversation. Okay, let me reframe that. Is absolutely a superpower.
Mhm. And if you don't have those conversations, you walk around thinking that something is not okay. And you don't necessarily even know what it is, but there's like a dis-ease within you, within your body, that actually.
Oh, absolutely. It's a form of an energetic disconnection or distortion
Mhm.
that is unseen, but part of you in your soma, you feel it. And so that actually governs your behavior and how you speak, even though that might not be the way that you want to be speaking, even on a daily basis. It impacts everything. It's an underlying current that is something that you would really, I think, would love to fix instead of having this kind of weird, almost suffering,
Yes.
energetic leak happening in your life because life is precious. We don't have all the time in the world. Every single day is honestly a gift to us. And so why not try to be the very best version of ourselves? And part of that is really being able to communicate.
That's right.
And
And people just don't realize the impact. They don't realize the cost of
yeah,
not
well,
speaking up.
that's really it. They don't realize the cost of it all.
Mhm.
Now, I'm really good with some areas, and my triggers, not so great. I mean, come on. I really am not. And I catch myself when I'm triggered and I go, okay. So the first thing I have learned to do is to be quiet and don't act on it and start to do an assessment within me. Where's the triggers? Why are the triggers? What is that person going through after I first want to kill them? By the way, we're
Right.
talking about family members, guys.
Yes, there you go.
That's how it goes. That's the toughest one.
Mm.
Family members are, in my opinion, in my experience, okay, maybe not for everybody, but for even my students, is the family members that are the toughest to get through.
It's often, right? So it really does vary. So some people feel like they can have a conversation with anybody in their family. Some people feel like they can have a conversation with anybody in their work. And it really is, as you say, the triggers. It's so funny that you talk about triggers, because I just finished leading my class at Stanford Med School today, and we were talking about triggers. We were talking about personality traits and triggers, and the importance of, I realize that's not what we're talking about, champagne conversation, but it could be relevant. The
It
importance
is
of
relevant.
recognizing what those triggers are so that you can deal with them. So we have positive triggers and we have negative triggers. We have things that make us feel calm and joyful and proud. And then we have things that take us out of the game. And so there's real value in being able to identify each of them, the positive ones, so that you can get more of it. So for example, a blue sky or sunny day is for many people a positive trigger. So, or getting out in nature. And so therefore going out and making sure that you're fully resourced and you're, breathing air can be very helpful for some people. I would say most people, but let's just say for some people, they know that it's an active, positive trigger. And then likewise, for some people, being interrupted causes annoyance, or being what they perceive as dismissed. I mean, one of the students was saying today that when somebody raises their eyebrow, she immediately goes into a tailspin like, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? Da, 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 da. Whatever. But the point is recognizing the trigger and where it sends you and what your behavior then becomes, knowing that, oh, this is a trigger I have, enables you then to do something about it. My colleague who shares about his triggers, so he and his wife have a great relationship, okay? But if he sits in the kitchen and does work on his computer, he does not like to be interrupted. And because he's working, right? His wife, she happens to walk in, he's there, she'll ask him a question. Oi, he gets annoyed. And then he's not so nice as usual, right? When he started to recognize, oh, being interrupted is just a trigger for me and I can do something about it, he then said, I can make a choice. I can not work in the kitchen so I don't get interrupted. Or if she interrupts me, I can say, can this wait? If so, I'd like to finish this. Or if it can't wait, let me know. But that is someone being more active when it relates to what they get triggered by, so that they have more power over how they will be.
Oh, absolutely. Instead of being reactive, responsive. And most of the time, though, the triggers are deep. They're deep from places from childhood and this and that. So it's about the stories that they keep playing on the trigger. So now we're talking about a conversation with yourself.
Yes.
And in that conversation, to how to identify the triggers, but not keep hanging on to the story the way that you keep communicating to yourself, like a broken record, and it gets magnified as time goes on. And a small trigger that really is unrelated becomes magnified on top of it. So it is very important to when you start to feel and see these triggers, to come and have a conversation with yourself.
Yes. Well, and often if you can't quite figure out what it is, so another tool that we have is called a brain dump. And we have people just put it out on a piece of paper so that they can see it and then start to deal with what I call a rebuttal to whatever the thing is that they're telling themselves. But that enables you to get clarity on what it is that's causing the upset.
Oh, exactly. And so I don't call it a brain dump.
Yes.
But that's a great term, by the way. I love that. But I do have my students start to write things down, and then we embody, where does that land, and then we determine, is that something that they actually created, or was it something that they took on from somebody else? But then we get to go through an energetic exercise to help release and dissolve that energy and replace that energy with something that is more empowering. And so, yes, this process, and then what they get is what they need at the very moment, is a very sacred message. And it's a mantra that can keep them to the state to get them through this next shift. And some of these things, though, because they're so embedded and they're so deep and a lot connected to traumas.
Yes.
And so, of course, the conversations that start with the person about themselves, because those conversations were put on them and they start believing those conversations. Well, it's not a one and done.
Right.
You have
That's right.
several
That's right.
conversations within yourself, but each time more loving, more compassionate, more caring, more
Mhm,
value, more sense of worth. And so, as the individual starts feeling that, they
mhm,
now possess the tools to be able to just emit that as they're having a conversation with somebody
mhm,
else.
mhm.
So, yes,
Great.
conversations are very, very
Yes. Critical.
important.
Critical. Yes, yes, yes,
They are
absolutely.
critical. They really are. So, we know who this serves, really. It serves everybody.
That's right.
Whether
That's right.
you're a team, a company, a household, relationships, it doesn't really matter.
Anything that involves people, where humans are to be found.
And
This
we're
is,
people. So it involves us
yes,
too,
of
alone.
course, of
So,
course.
I mean, this is part of it. And it is about, well, I'm sure you've heard me say many, many times that clarity rules. And it does and a lot of people think it's really about the law of attraction. And yes, how law of attraction shows up in your life, but there is even a greater universal rule. It's how you create, which is because that's an active rule in the universe. And so, how do you take action? And the clearer you become, the more beautiful and harmonious and aligned your actions
Mhm,
are.
mhm, mhm,
And so you stay open and fluid for the results of the conversation when your intention is clean. I'll
that's
call
right.
it clean. And when you do the work, your intention does become clean because you know the whys. And you even know if you're still nervous, even after you've done all this. And yes, so okay, when I first started doing any talk show at all, oh my God, I was sweating bullets all the time. In fact, even when I first started doing classes, I wouldn't even put on the video for over a year. And the first time I had to go live, I sweat bullets for 45 minutes. And then the tech didn't work after that. So I'm going, then what did I go through all that for?
Mm,
So the
mm.
next time I came on, I just said, you know what, guys? I was supposed to be live on this and I apologize, but I was so nervous that maybe all the sweating I did, I just screwed up the tech.
The powerful energy that you sent out, like this will not work. You were right. Congratulations.
Exactly. But it's like, and from there, it started lifting off of me the dread feeling, the
Yes.
unknown, the screw up that this isn't going to come out right. I'm afraid to do it. It's live. What if I make a mistake?
Mm,
Can't take it
mm,
back. And
mm.
so each layer started to
Yep.
give me more freedom.
Yes. Yeah. And you also acknowledge what was so, right?
Absolutely.
Which then also frees you up. And it has you not try to pretend and not try to be perfect and as your humanity show, all of that moves all of that energy through you so that you can just be there for what your intention is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my whys were bigger
Mm,
than my
there you go.
fears.
There you go.
And my whys were to bring beautiful people like yourself with amazing wisdom
Mm,
that can help the audience out there, to help lift them out, to help give them guidance, to understand that, hey, the impossible is possible. How to go about different approaches that resonate with you in order to start moving forward and designing the life you want to live instead of dreading the one that you have. So this was the most important thing. So I was going to get over it one way or the other. And yes, from childhood, I got in trouble if I made a mistake.
mm,
So it
mm,
took a while for me to unpack all of that. And I was going to be punished, and I was punished.
mm,
And so it's like, oh my God, what is my punishment going to be
mm,
if I screw up?
mhm, mhm.
Well, now I can laugh at myself, and Colleen knows this. If we get stuff that happens, we go, maybe it can go in the blooper reel. But I would not have missed the opportunity to be able to bring different guests coming on for just the CSI for inspiration
Mm,
and just to uplift people, or the holistic health on topic to actually hone in on really viable tools that can really start moving them forward in their life. That it's not like the confusion, it's cutting through the noise.
mm,
What can I do? This is where I am.
mhm.
This is where I want to go, but this is what's in the way. What can I do about it?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So the work that we do, right, in terms of creating the vision, looking at the things that are your obstacles and then figuring out how do we get over them, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
this is one way. This is one
yes,
easy way
exactly.
for me to come to people. And I've gotten to the point where I really enjoy it. I look forward to seeing you guys and having you with me. It's such a blessing
Mm,
for this to happen. And yes, I am an author. I do have a book out, to let's be clear, which does put it into a protocol that people can actually follow. This is what's
mhm,
going on. This is the most important 3 questions you need to ask about yourself for this goal and dream,
mhm,
and break it down. And it's a nice, easy way to start to understand energy, how it
mhm,
moves, but practical application
mhm,
is important. And so we teach as well. We have programs. We have people come in and group classrooms. We have individuals that need our help. I mean, we're here for you people. We really,
mhm,
really, truly are. And our approaches are different and at different points in time. It may not feel like the right fit at the time, but down the road, it may feel like the
mhm,
perfect fit. Or you
mhm,
may know somebody, or you may know a particular company that really needs a lot of help right now. And
mhm,
how about people that are just experiencing too much anxiety within themselves, just in general,
mhm,
or the position they're in?
mhm,
And in their workplace, or the ones running the show. It's- I was in the entertainment world for quite a while, and anxiety runs really high there. I was always putting out fires.
mm.
So, yes, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in. All of this information that Gaby came and brought to you today is so viable in your life.
Mm.
And maybe now it opened up a different perspective about the importance of communication. So I really, really invite you to really receive this free gift. It's the start.
That's right.
Gaby has her contact information. I made
Yes,
sure
yes.
it went on there. Just so you can reach out to her. And of course, you can reach out to myself. And we have a lot of nice things coming up for the rest of this year. And of course, we are going to have the 5th annual Faith, Hope, and Love Summit, which Gaby, in all her world travels, she is going to be able to be with us. That's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of December. So we're doing it a little early again this year. And so we really invite all of you to come and register and just be with us. It's a very, very special sacred time. Things open up. You can start to, because the veils are lifting at this period of time of the year, you get to receive easier. And if it's the information that's going to help you align with your life better, that's the purpose of us being here for you. So we invite you for that. So a couple more things, Gaby, and I want to
Mhm.
get that in now
Sure.
before I forget. So what would you love to leave the audience with for for today?
I would love to leave them with the knowledge that whatever conversation they want to have, they can have, and there's a way to have it. And the recognition that their being able to speak up and say what's true for them is vitally important to them, and they're worth it.
That's beautiful. And did you hear that? You're worth it. Oftentimes we think that no, they're here, we're here. So we're judging ourselves already. And so we put value worth on things and say, well, I can't say that to this person. You can when you learn the skills, and definitely start with the champion conversations outline that will start to get you going a little bit and understand more. But you are worth it. And once you find that beauty within yourself and start to nurture that, then things become a lot easier and more sacred. And it impacts your entire being, your spirit, your health, your mindset, your approach, your words, your behavior, everything, and how you move forward and design the life, because we are all creators and we're creating whether we're consciously creating or not.
That's right. That's right.
Well, ladies, this has been an amazing conversation. Gaby, I did just want to ask you a question
Sure.
in regards to the application. Um, you have this beautiful free gift for us, the Champion Conversation Outline. So let's say that, we have a conversation that we've suppressed for a while, and now we have listened to this beautiful conversation today and we're feeling empowered. Is there like a timeline or, that you would approximate if someone was like, okay, I need to have this conversation, but I
Mhm.
have put it off for so long, but now I have the tools to do it. Would you say that would be like a month timeline, or what would be,
Oh, I
you
invite you
know,
to have it sooner rather than later. So, but the
uh-huh.
part of the whole structure is that you're creating it, you're writing the script, and then you actually get in touch with a person to make time to have it. So it's not exactly getting permission, but it's making sure that you have sufficient time, because you don't want to rush the conversation. You want to make sure, and you also don't want to spring it on them. It's not like we need to talk. That's not a good
Oh,
idea.
my. That never goes over
Not a
well.
good idea. But then some people say, well, if I tell them I want to have a conversation, but that I don't have it right away, then they'll be nervous. And there are ways to do that. So what you can say is, I'd love to have a conversation with you. It's important to me. Don't worry. Nobody's in trouble. I just had some thoughts about how I'd like to improve things, or I want to get something resolved, or I want to create the future, whatever it is. And just make sure that that it works for them, so that you can have the right time for it. And then, so it's not like there isn't a particular time. It really is dependent on when they're available for it as well. And if they don't want to have it, then you might need to do some repair work before you get to this. Sometimes that's the case, because you
Mhm.
might have left them in a space the last time they talked to you where they were devastated. I'm exaggerating, but it's
Mhm.
possible. And then there's some cleanup that you might need to do. And so that is what really determines the timeline, their availability and your availability. So there's not a particular time.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you. That's very
Mhm.
helpful.
Good,
Yes,
great.
indeed, because you don't want to be rushed, like Gaby says. You don't want to be uncomfortable that it's not really a good time for you. It's only a good time for them. It has to be a good time for both of you.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
And that way you don't get interfered with. And that's very important when you're trying to communicate. It's you don't throw it on somebody like we need to talk. The defenses go up
Right,
immediately, Gaby.
right.
You're absolutely right on that. And talking about repair, yeah, sometimes there was some serious collateral damage there.
Mhm, mhm.
And so you have to be very cognizant of that as well. So in order to be that, you have to be very honest about what previously happened or
The
would
other thing that I would
happen
say is
to.
that to the extent that they are not ready, that you just leave an opening, right?
Mhm.
So I understand you're not ready to talk now. When you are, I'll be available. You let me know when. And then that empowers them to have some agency in the creation of the future.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And if they tell you never, then odds are you're going to get a great chance. It's sometimes, well, we'll see, or soon, or something. Oh, sometimes that doesn't work out so much, but I have found any time that somebody says never, for some reason, that opens up. So don't be afraid of the word never
Sometimes it's
from
their
people.
needing to have that communication. They're upset, right?
That's
And
right.
then they get that off their chest, and then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I could have a conversation.
Oh, which is fantastic. Well, Gaby, thank you so very much for being
My
with us
complete
today.
pleasure.
I know you had a rush from teaching right before you got here, and so I'm so appreciative that you were still to be able to be with us.
Absolutely. My
And I
pleasure.
look forward to you being with us at the summit. But one last thing before we
Yes.
go, where are they able to get your book now?
Oh, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it through me. But you can get it on Amazon. I didn't mention it's a bestseller. So we hit, bestseller in 3 categories when it was
Oh,
produced. So that's
fantastic.
exciting. But yes, you can get it on Amazon. Wired to Win. I'll show you this. And then yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, when you say they can also get it directly from you, it's the information that you put on your
My email's on there. So if somebody wants it directly from me, they can get it
that's
from
where
me.
they can, okay.
Yes,
I
they can
wanted to
get it
make
from me too.
sure that
If you
they're
get it
able
from
to
me, it'll
get.
have one that has my cover on it. So
That's right. So
there you go. Up to
contact
you.
Gaby
But
and
the
get her.
inside information all the same. So there you go.
There you go. Well, thank you so very much.
Absolutely my pleasure.
I am honored that you were able to spend time with us, and you beautiful audience, you gorgeous souls. We're here for you. Contact us, keep in touch, subscribe. And we have still a lot more to come. So thank you. I'm sending you off with love and blessings.
Beautiful.